let's move to the next movie since we have discussed enough about them.
Oh yeah,
The next
the
movie,
best one.
the one that both of these guys all of course hate. I'm just not saying anything here because I'm pretty sure they'll just call me out for being a SRK fan, which I am, and just be like, you are just going on and giving nonsense argument to say that this movie is nice, even though I feel like if the movie is not nice, which it's not, but the storyline is really really nice. The execution is horrible. I feel like
A South
it's like
Indian father who eats
a
noodles with
sin.
curd dies because a robot from a video game comes and kills him, and then the robot, which looks exactly like the South Indian father, comes and
No,
kills the other
the
robot
thing
and
is,
dies in the
the
process.
robot from the video game is the robot that he created, okay? Like, it touches him and then he dies.
Very
So,
nice.
that's
Yeah,
fine.
so that see I what which for people who are watching this will make a lot of sense when we actually start discussing the movie, but I'm not going to say anything about this movie, okay? Because
No,
my thoughts are
you
not
should, you should, you
in
should,
any
you should.
way similar to these guys, and
You should.
I
It'll
don't
create
want to.
a
I'm also for the movie. You should
yeah.
say it.
I really like the
You should.
storyline. I do actually believe that if you can't execute something in a really like good manner when it's a big budget movie, it is made in the mainstream cinema. If you cannot execute it properly, maybe don't make it because the storyline is just too good to be destroyed like this. I want a remake of this but made in a better manner. Anyways, let's start discussing. Shut up, Kushi. Let's start discussing, and let's start with him only.
Do you want me
Go
to
ahead.
add all of this, or should I cut this out?
No,
No, you
cut
can
this
add it.
out.
It's fine. What?
This is-
It'll be too long.
Okay,
why,
yes.
why will you cut this part out? This
Which
part,
part are we talking about?
the part about Janvi asking for a remake and me saying absolutely
That's
not.
true.
Oh no, not that.
Yeah.
But the one before that. I'm just saying that.
Bro,
Which one before that?
no one
All
wants to see a
the
remake
in
of this.
between.
No, I'm again saying I don't want to see the remake of this exact thing. I want the storyline to be the same, but like specific scenes and specific
Better
things.
production.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but the
exactly.
story is not good.
Just a better screenplay and a better production
Basically,
value.
everything should be better, not like this.
I again stand by the thing that I said. I was
I need a different
mesmerized with the
story, but
storyline.
everything else should be different.
No, I said I need the same story.
But everything else should be different.
I need the same story, but everything should be different. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
I'm not saying everything in it should be different. I said the way it is executed should be different. Don't try to twist my words.
Basically,
Let's
move
start
on.
with the let's just start with the review. Koshi, let's start with you since you are really fired up.
Who, me?
I'm not fired
Oh.
up. I'm just saddened by the existence of this movie. It internally depresses me that this movie actually exists. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not coming out of nowhere to just say that, so I have to explain why I said that. So I know that we're supposed to focus on the theme of the movie, and
But you're not going to do that.
I will focus on the theme first, and then I will come to the flaws that I have with the movie. So if you talk about the theme of AI coming alive or like robots coming alive, that is there to an extent. And in my eyes, I feel that the Tamil film Robot did it better because, and of course, this is my opinion. Janvi might have a different opinion to mine. I feel that it did it better because in Robot, they kind of did, like I said before, they kind of did like the Frankenstein's monster kind of thing where the guy actually did create a robot with AI in it and he was a scientist and all of that stuff. In this movie, it's more about a video game designer and how like his video game technically comes into the real world, right? So it's less realistic than what happened in Robot. That's one of my arguments. And also I think
don't agree to that, but
yeah, of course you can talk about it when you speak about the thing. So this is like personally my opinion. And of course also the fact that how like the video game character's consciousness goes into like an into like, okay, so this part, you know how there were figurines, like they actually designed like realistic figurines, like big sized figurines just for display. I want to know why a figurine
I agree to this part.
I want
I
to
totally
know
agree to this part.
how a putla, like what do you call in Hindi? Okay, yeah, it is a putla because
It is, it is, it is, it is.
it's basically like a statue almost. How the consciousness transferred into a statue, and then the statue can magically move its limbs and like do whatever the hell it wants. That was
Yep,
super weird. Okay, because
yep.
that was designed as a showpiece. You cannot, even if someone's consciousness travels into, and like as far as all of the science fiction stuff that we've seen, even like if you have consciousness inside a body, the body still needs to be able to move. It in this movie, the consciousness was transferred into a damn statue, and the statue just like started moving with like the best fluidity that it could possibly
I
have.
like
Like,
to
yeah,
I also had to like to add a point. Sorry to interrupt, but you can make an argument. Like people can make an argument that they can say that hey, it's AI. Anything can happen. There are other movies that we talked about here.
No,
That no,
no, but even with
I don't
AI,
think so.
Let me just finish my point.
yeah,
So I'm saying that other people, some people can say that there's AI that possibly can't happen, but the biggest concern of this movie in particular is that they don't explain anything that how it happened.
absolutely.
How
That's
did it
the
Exactly. True.
how is it even possible? Like if they would tell like हाँ ठीक है technology की वजह से ये सब कुछ हो गया just using technology as an excuse, it doesn't make
Again, I
sense.
pointed this out earlier. Again, I'm not saying that the science in it is wrong. Like coming from a background who really, really focuses on, like, if I watch a sci-fi movie, I'm gonna go and research about almost everything that happened in that movie in terms of science because I'm really interested in that. But I was really disappointed to see. I'm like, can you get like one person who knows at least like 10% of like science and how it works, how the world works? Can you get someone to consult on your script? That was one of my biggest thing because when you say that it's a sci-fi movie, you need the sci part of it to make
They're too busy
sense.
making South Indian jokes.
Guys, I want to add a point. Like, I agree with all the things you've seen, but I think that this movie has 2 points which other movies don't. One, not many movies talk about gaming and AI in gaming. So I know
True.
there are flaws in it,
True.
but
interesting.
it talks about that. Second, not many Bollywood or Indian movies are there talking about AI and technology. So I think it represents one thing and it's still improving, obviously, but it's
Yeah.
one of the first ones, so we can cut some slack.
Uh,
Yeah, and that is for you guys because
Mm.
okay,
That's
I said this before, like like when you said that it doesn't make sense for a gaming character to come out of the movie, I feel like if they actually explored the science bit of it a little bit more than they did and focused not into the whole Bollywoody tropes that they used in the movie, they could have actually made a decent movie, which they did not.
I'd actually like to make an argument with Jasmine here. I like to say, since you're talking about cutting some slack, let's talk about the SFX. Okay, how much money do you think Shah Rukh Khan spent on the SFX for this movie? They're actually not terrible. There's actually some amount of good SFX that has been put in this movie, and I'm pretty sure that took a lot of time to work on. So you think that if they put so much time doing that, they would put some time into the story as well. Don't you think that?
No,
Like
but the
I would cut
storyline
it
is
some
there,
slack.
no?
I would cut it some
No, the
slack, but then at the same
storyline is
time,
there, right? It's like Janvi pointed out, it's just science fiction that isn't explained or explored in the movie
that's what I'm talking
much.
about. So do you think that they would put some amount of effort in explaining how this AI works? Because that's like the biggest problem. Why, like, since you're making an AI movie and they really wanted to make this, so explain the AI a little bit better, maybe.
Yeah, I think the
I agree
one
with
of the things that I
Ravi.
think with all of the things that you are trying to say is basically if you're saying that you're making a science fiction movie, don't go ahead and make a very typical Bollywood movie instead. And or whatever, if it's labeled as a superhero movie, still do not try and make a very Bollywood kind of movie, like the typical Bollywood movie that you could find anywhere. Do not try to do that and focus more on the stuff. And I think they just didn't explore the idea good, because this is a very good idea, man. Like, you could do a lot of research, like we could do
Yeah,
a lot of research and come up with a better idea. I'm
I
not
can
saying that we are
agree. I
good.
can agree with you there.
It could be bad.
The ideas there, but okay,
Yeah, the execution is just
See,
something. And
we are agreeing to you in that point. Like,
hmm,
yeah,
we know that the science part isn't explained and the execution isn't good, but
yeah.
we're just supporting the idea. At least someone
I'm just
yeah,
saying
we
took an
are.
idea and
I
did
can't
something.
I can't forgive them just because like they I can't forgive them on them making it for the first time. I can't do that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Sure,
And
that's
one more
your
thing
point
I
of
want,
view.
yeah, exactly. One more thing I want to point out was the, like, as far as the themes and the storyline goes, I felt like so the whole father and son theme, that is such a powerful theme. They could have explored it in a very different way. Like, in my mind, it works in a very different way. But the points that they shouldn't, like, so Bollywood has this problem with it, that everything, just they just dilute every ideas to please the lowest common denominator. So even the people who do not want to just go watch a movie for their entertainment and do not want to think about it a lot, can understand, and a movie can make a lot of money. And so they do not make quality movies. And I think when it comes to that, like the father son relation, which they could have explored in a way better manner, and they just kind of left it there. I don't know, like they just left it there. They did not explore it at all. They pointed it out. They pointed it out very specifically, that he made the video game for his son, and the son actually appreciated him for it. And the whole protective, like, he wanted his father to be a superhero, and he ultimately became a superhero. Everything is all fine, but
Yeah.
you just left it there. You did not kind of explored it
Not
in a
just
way so
that,
that.
not just that. Since we're like people who have studied pop culture in in our college, I don't think that the excuse of the lowest denominator really works, because the thing is, then you're kind of giving a free pass and an excuse to the entire industry to do whatever they want, which they have been doing. They have been doing whatever they want for years, and they still are. It's not like they've changed. They still are. And that concept of, oh, let's cater to the lowest common denominator, let's then gives them like a free pass to do a whole bunch of stuff, from sexualizing women, making fun of South Indians and people from the Northeast, okay, making racist jokes, to be more precise,
Yeah,
uh, to straight up not having any people from lower castes in the film industry itself. So then it goes into a different tangent altogether, because if you give them that pass, that one pass for saying, oh, you, because they have to cater to the lowest denominator,
no,
it gives
i'm
you
not I'm not saying that they are doing that and it's okay to do that. I am actually
yeah,
pointing it out that it's not okay to do that. I'm just listing
yeah,
the reason
exactly,
here, like
yeah,
why
yeah,
I think they did it, and that's the
yeah,
reason, which is
they
not okay. Because
yeah,
movie shouldn't be just something you watch for entertainment, because when you
yeah,
look back at it, uh, we study history, like the popular pop culture history, by the
yeah.
movies that were made in that time.
Exactly. And the point is, movies are not just mindless entertainment. Film, it's called film for a reason. It's Film is an art form on its own, right? Why is it that our generation and like more newer generations have stopped caring so much about Bollywood and tend to go more for like English movies or even foreign language films, or they're even going for like the new Hindi streaming service TV shows?
Yeah,
It's because those have thought in them. Those have new people with
true.
fresh ideas who are actually able to express it. They don't have the same old fuddy duddy old people who are there in the industry, who refuse to put any amount of brain work, any amount of research, and come out of that brainless entertainment which we call the Bollywood film industry. So unfortunately, that's a major problem. And yeah, I think Raman is just a very
Again, not saying all the Bollywood movies are bad, but
most of
saying
them,
most of the Bollywood movies are
most of
bad.
them.
Exactly,
Our our
most
our
of them
our,
are
our own professor Ramakrishnan sir said, "Come on, guys, we are one of the biggest
bad.
industries
Don't
which
quote.
the oh yeah, sorry, we'll cut
Don't.
that. One of our professors, not going to take a name, had even said like this quote that we're one of the biggest industries which churns out trash. He said those words, by the way. on a very on a very what should I say, on a very schedule, like on a very shit. I'm not getting
Regular basis.
regular schedule. Yeah, on a very regular schedule. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it's there. It happens. So like mostly it. I'm not saying that we haven't produced anything good. There are obviously films which I myself love from Bollywood which have surprised me, where I'm genuinely like, like you can see that there are talented people trying to do good stuff, from Tare Zameen Par to let's say Andhadhun to Karwa. These are just some of the films that I like from the Bollywood film industry.
It's really interesting that two of those movies that you listed came out on a streaming service.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's really funny that how you can see that there have been talented people, but a
I'm
lot of
sorry
them.
to interrupt, but I think we are
Yeah.
kind of staying away from the topic.
Yeah.
We are
Sorry,
very
sorry.
much
Yeah,
straying away
yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah,
topic.
yeah. I'm going to stop talking about Bollywood now. But
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify with what Janvi's point was, because yeah, I felt that it was unfair.
Yeah,
to them
Jhanvi.
Bhavya, please, your point of view, since we have spoken a lot.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, like, is it bad if I don't have any point of view?
No, it's okay.
No,
Bhavya,
it's
talk about the
fine.
racism, Bhavya.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
No, we need to address that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bhavya,
We do
technically
need to address
speaking,
that.
technically speaking, you and I are the only two who can speak about this the best on
Mm.
this on
yeah.
this
Yeah, actually,
podcast.
that is true. That is actually
Yeah,
very true.
because
And
Yeah.
like
I'm just
obviously,
waiting. I'm just waiting for some of the people to comment. How can you say about this thing about South Indians? I
yeah.
really hope that happens. I really
No,
hope that
see,
happens.
it's the same mindset that obviously as a white person, white people can't talk about the racism that is there towards black people
Yeah.
in movies, books, or TV shows because they haven't experienced it themselves. Same way,
True.
North Indians
No,
can't
we
talk
should
about.
talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Bhavya should definitely be the one to talk about it.
You also have a story, right? You can also talk about the story that
Yeah. I have
You should
my
talk about
personal.
it.
Let's just move on and finish this with our last segment, which Jazz will list us some statements, and we have to tell if that's a fact or a myth according to our knowledge of AI. Okay, so
Okay, then.
Jazz, will you like just let's list them, and all of us will tell and make a case for why we think it's a myth or a fact.
All
Can I play
right.
the
So
KBC music here?
You can.
so and game time. Okay, that was very bad. I know.
That's not the
I
KBC.
know.
I'll just put
I
it. It's
know.
okay.
That's my music.
Sure.
It's okay. I won't say anything.
Okay, so let's start with the first point that super intelligence is just years away.
I
It
mean,
is.
super intelligence. So, in what sense? What do you
Like it is a worry that super intelligence is just years away and people are panicking that what will happen and this and that. So is it a
It
myth
is.
No,
or
but
a fact?
I'm asking like super
Pure.
intelligence in what sense? Like, what do you categorize super
I think
intelligence in?
AI. I think we can
Everything under
safely say that
technology. It's
exactly.
AI,
I think
it's
we can
technology, everything.
I would say super intelligence
dissect
is
the
already.
words, dude.
I,
Super
I
intelligence. Yeah,
I think super
exactly. It's
intelligence is
already
already
here.
here. I mean, it's in development, but it's already here. So that's my
Like we
answer.
have the building blocks for
Yeah,
it.
that's
So
my
like
answer.
do you
Proceed,
need to
Bhavya.
worry about it? Like
Yes,
worry
Okay.
about it.
I think we
Okay.
Very
already
much so.
talked about it. I think we already talked about it before, but yeah, we should worry about it.
Jasmine. Oh,
Yeah.
so if we are talking in Bollywood language, it's a fact if we are going to have racist and sexist robots, which is very problematic. But then if it is like actually for useful purposes,
I don't think. Okay, I don't think racism and sexism are the only worry. The fact that they can destroy
Yeah.
the entire
there
world
are a
is
lot
also a big worry.
of worries. Like, no, there are a lot of other worries, but existing worries. Like, if we're talking
Yeah.
about existing worries, we're
Again,
talking
I
about
think
that one
existing
part.
worries, you only gave the topic about unemployment, firstly, because of super intelligence,
Oh, yeah.
environment issues, how environment will be affected if we mass produce stuff like this, if like the maintenance of it and everything, there has to be
Also,
some really good
okay, there is
environmental
this
rules for it.
one more idea as well. Sorry to interrupt. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
had
go ahead.
this sports psychology elective last sem, okay, and we were like researching and then researching for our final thesis paper, and then we were like actually talking about how problematic it is if you're bringing in AI and sports like I don't know, like for example, uh, gaming stuff which is in Ravan. Because see, if you see it in that perspective, technology altogether is problematic. First thing. Second thing, it is telling us that a lot of scientists are in the position of power, and then see, if you see,
Exactly.
it is telling us science is this one superpower no one can touch, and then
I
if
think
you
that is an
read,
established fact. Knowledge is power.
knowledge is power, but there is a difference between knowledge and then scientific knowledge, dude. Not everyone can be a scientist, right? See, uh,
Yeah.
there is a difference between the common man, and then there is a difference between a scientist. So like I think right now I'm doing a bad job putting the research in like a vague way, because this is entirely a different topic altogether, where it discusses about how problematic it is in future if you have video games and stuff like this. Because it is so, like, sort of quote unquote, it talks about how it's going to end up being a brain game rather than the physical game that we see on daily basis. So in that game you can add whatever metaphor you want to use, or whatever politically correct statement you want to use, and you can talk about it. Like, at the end of the day, it's actually becoming a brain game, and then uh, I don't know, like, we don't have any of the power in our hands. So I just want that to be
That is
put there.
something that people should think about. I think when you mentioned things like this in game, I just this one thing came in my mind. So it's a scene from Her where that person is playing an augmented reality game, like of course a
Yeah,
far
yeah.
more advanced version of that. And there's this
Mhm.
little guy who comes to help him, and he is just really abusive. Like the only thing he's just abusive. Let's just say that.
Mhm.
And like like again, so some worries, that some cultural worries that could come in, is that children are playing these kinds of games and stuff like that. But
I mean,
then
we
again,
already have
I for
ratings for games. We already have ratings for games.
No, the thing
exactly.
is, at the end of the day, it looks like we are giving it all to the entire AI thing. Okay, so we had this discussion with our professor as well, and then she's like, "See, if the entire this gaming thing comes, people are not interested in winning or losing, right? Because whoever has the technology have the probability, like has the higher probability of winning the entire thing. So for example, let's just say we are doing uh, paragliding or something in Olympics, like for example, and then whoever has the good technology, and probably the countries which are good with great technology are anyway have are having the probability of winning. So it talks about more about political monopoly and all that. This is, so you can just remove this
this
part
is
from
this
this
is
entire
no, this is
discussion.
actually a very important concern, which is not exactly about AI, as you said. It is more about the technological advance that a lot of countries are making. And that is why now when we
Yeah,
rank a country, we rank them on the basis of their tech as well, not just
yeah,
on the
true.
basis of their armies, not just on the basis of the kind of government they have, but on the basis of how much technologically advanced they are. The whole I'm correct me if I'm wrong, which I'm pretty sure I am. But I think the idea of first world and second world and all of that is now kind of shifting to a perspective that any country which can be very much advanced in tech, does not matter if it's advanced in other manners, it could come into that first world, because a lot of
Hmm.
luxuries are coming from that, which
Yeah.
is
Okay. Just adding to that. I don't know. I'm trying to be funny. So the thing is, if you are incorrect, Mr. Sunil Maurya is gonna correct you in the comment section. Don't worry.
cut this part out. No, we're not keeping
I'm
this
definitely
part.
gonna leave this
You
in.
want to? You want to? Why do you want to harm my relationship with my uncle?
Her uncle will legit murder all of us if he finds us. Ever.
No, he won't murder. He'll just stop talking to me all and all. Okay, I need to be very careful while
Abhi,
talking to
please,
him a
Abhi,
lot of
please cut that.
times. Please.
Abhi,
Yeah,
please cut that
yeah.
part out.
But this is
Did you guys
a
forget I come from UP?
this is a really long episode, guys. We've been
No,
recording.
when you
Yeah,
cut the
I
racism
think
part and all of
I
that aside, we will make
Yeah,
sense. I
yeah,
think.
but
I think we should call it a day then.
No, there are a couple
what
of
about the
my
game?
game.
important
That
things
game.
for me.
That game. We
Shit!
just forgot about the
Yeah.
game.
Okay, never mind. Okay, right.
Okay, the
Jesus,
second
this is
one.
a long episode,
so
man.
after-
My
Oh, by the way,
pulse is
sorry.
Millie.
Sorry, you did not clarify. Was it a myth or a fact?
So
Hello. Hey.
it
Oh
was
God, I
a
have to
mythical.
edit. Do I have to edit the entire thing?
No,
Oh,
you kind of, yeah.
wait, should I just
Yeah.
leave that conversation, or should I? What do I do with that? We'll
No,
discuss
no,
later.
don't leave that conversation. That was something for us to, baad mein brainstorm for a new episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that does
So,
not relate with the topic.
guys, listen.
Sorry.
So it is
Finally, the answer to the
actually
question.
actually a
Drum roll.
mythical.
Sorry.
So it is actually a mythical worry because the actual worry is that it will take at least decades to make it safe and common amongst people. So it won't be like the idea that it will take over us and all that is just a myth right now.
I
My
told
question
you. I
is,
told you in
no,
Bollywood
my
language.
question is, will they try to make it safe enough?
They have to.
That
If
you
they
never
don't,
know.
then we'll start losing trust in these companies.
Do you already have a lot of trust in these companies?
We
No,
don't. I mean,
imagine.
see,
Okay,
trust
imagine losing
trust
trust
can
in
be like a
scientists.
different. Yeah, Bhavya, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, fine. I was just saying that trust is a very different thing. I may not trust, but other people might trust. Like, it's a country with like 7 billion people, so you never know what.
Yeah, like we trust the incognito window
Many
in
people trust
Chrome.
Tesla. I don't trust Tesla. Many people trust Tesla. I don't trust Tesla at all. So
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
guys. Point 2.
Second,
AI can control humans. Is it a
yes,
myth or a fact?
yes. In speaking in terms of
Explain.
Ravan,
Explain your answers.
as we've seen in Ravan, the AI game robots can morph into other people. No, but like honestly speaking, take over humans. I don't see. I think it really depends on the developer.
There is
What they kind
there
of.
is
Go
sorry,
ahead.
I don't interrupt Avi, but there was this movie that I really wanted us to add in our list for this topic, but we obviously weren't able to because we had already reached 4 movies, and that's already quite a lot. There is this movie I would recommend everyone to check out, and I think it recently just released on Netflix. It's called Upgrade,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and Upgrade is literally about the question that Jasmine just asked us as to whether AI can control a human being, and the answer, according to that film at least, is definitely a resounding yes.
Mm.
Because in that movie, the man, I'll give you a brief description. The guy and his girlfriend, they kind of get shot up because she's, I think, a lawyer or something, and she's going against dangerous people, and they hire goons to go and try and get her assassinated. So she dies, but he gets shot up and he loses all control of his entire body. He basically is almost in a vegetative coma kind of state. And this man who knows him, who happened.
Koshi, sorry, but maybe let's not talk about the movie because again,
No.
not
I'm just explaining as to where it plays in, and so it plays into the fact that this man who knows him, who's a scientist, kind of puts this artificial intelligence chip inside him, which finally rejoins his nerves and his entire body with his brain again, and he's able to move around. Now the rest of the movie you watch, obviously, I'm not going to tell you what happens, but it's very interesting as to the question. It
When you were saying all of that, the chip and everything, I don't know why the image of Doctor Octopus
Yeah.
from Sam Raimi Spider-Man
that
That
too. You're
that
not
also
wrong.
came in
You're
my
includes
not wrong.
mind.
that also
Absolutely,
is
yeah.
included. Yeah.
That you're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about that. That
Yeah.
is a way of taking control of human being, because
Yep.
is actually like, even though the comics version of Doc Ock is very different, Sam Raimi's vision for Doc Ock was exactly that,
True.
of
Yeah.
his
True.
arms taking control of the man. That was his vision for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
you
We can rule over the Sam Raimi franchise in another episode.
yeah.
I would love to talk
But
about them. I can talk about them, especially
yeah,
Spider-Man
me
3.
too. Me too. Oh, of course, the finger guns. Let's
All
not
right.
get into that. Is it a fact or a myth?
It's a fact because so the explanation they give
Oh,
is because it's like intelligence enables control. It's like we can control animals. So
yeah,
if AI becomes more intelligent than us, it can control us,
yeah.
obviously. So, third point, robots are the main concern.
I'm not gonna answer this because I remember the thing that the article lists. So I'm not gonna say anything to that.
What kind of robots? Like
Just
Roombas?
robots.
Robots.
Yeah.
Roombas.
Wait, what?
Robots. I guess it depends on what kind of robots. Maybe I don't know, but
Similar to
robots.
iRobots.
I'm
Yeah.
Similar to iRobot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then they are a worry. Since you talked about AI controlling
No, like
humans,
they're the main concern.
main
Are
concern
they the
of
main
everything
concern?
of the
No,
entire
main
world.
concern for. I mean, maybe let Koshi answer this first.
Can you elaborate your questions a little bit more?
This
It's
was
like
such a.
it's
Should
like
I?
no, it's like
Okay.
our let's take humanoid robots or robots walking around like the dog robot we were talking about are the main concern for overtaking us or like being a threat to humanity or something like that.
Yeah, they should be.
The
Are they the
main
only and
concern.
main concern?
I'm
We are
not.
trying to lead you to an answer now.
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay, Koshi. You are supposed to give the answer now. You're on mute.
Yes, please repeat the question.
Oh my.
I
I
should just
see. I think you should elaborate your question because, like, see,
No. Like, just repeat the
Okay,
question.
do you think that the physical entity that is a robot is the only concern or the main concern that
oh,
we
it's
should
not
have
the.
in
It's
terms
not.
of
It's not the
in
only concern. Obviously, there are other concerns. That if
not
that's what your
only but
question
the
is,
main concern, like something that you should be focusing on?
No, I don't think like the body of a robot is that important. I think the artificial intelligence is the most scary part. Than
We let
than
him do the answer.
than like a machine being. It was quite obvious to me. Like, that's an answer that I would have given anyway. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, see, you look at, you even again taking our films as examples. You look at iRobot. Vicky didn't have a body per se, but she still accomplished so much without a body. So, like, I mean, it clearly shows you
I
they
don't
don't
know,
require.
man. That cleaning robot can just step on you and then like eat up your entire foot. I don't know.
what?
No, but which robot are you talking about? The one
Roombas.
that destroyed the.
God,
What are you behind
Roombas again and
Roombas?
again. Abhi has just got into like a Roomba obsession for some reason. Also,
My
for our
dad is
audience
getting
who
on.
don't know oh my god, for our audiences who don't know what a Roomba is, Abhi, you should probably
Oh
put in a
yeah.
picture.
So like a
It's the
Roomba is basically
artificial. Yeah, you know, no, you go ahead.
a Roomba is basically like a cleaning robot. It knows where to go and it knows how to avoid obstacles and everything. It can clean your entire house basically. So
Yeah,
no
it's,
mains.
you would have seen it also. It's a circular disc shape thing which is put on the ground and it goes around your house constantly.
A picture may
It's a
suffice.
Yeah.
Right?
I think you can put up a
Yeah.
picture. In this part, yeah.
Moving on.
Bhavya, you have not spoken for a lot of
Oh.
time. Do you agree with all of them?
Yes.
That was such a sad yes. Why are you okay? Are you concerned about our future? That's why you're sad.
No, I'm concerned
Yes.
about my mate. future. Roomba is gonna take her work.
See, I was telling you, Roombas are dangerous. They cost jobs.
Okay. Okay, so I think the answer for this one is pretty obvious because we both led you all to this answer.
Also,
But
iRobot has Wiki, which is a clear example that misaligned intelligence is the main concern because they can connect to other things without a body or anything. Also, in her, the Samantha, she connects with so many AIs. Yeah.
and
So
So,
are we done?
well,
Are we done? Bhavya just wants to
yeah.
leave.
Yeah, Bhavya, we're done.
Are we done?
I won't.
no,
I
wait.
just want.
Conclusions. Oh,
Conclusion.
yeah,
Conclusions.
conclusion.
I think my last concluding thing would be that I wanted to actually talk about a point which I think I don't remember which Hanvi or Bhavya. I think Bhavya had made it about how machines will eventually like that governments need to be more careful about like machines taking over people's jobs, which I don't see that happening because most countries are capitalistic in nature and their main goal is to obviously make money, and so they're not if they're getting a robot which is doing what like one machine is doing what 100 other people could, they're definitely not going to try and make life easy for human beings. So my conclusion would be that our future in terms of unemployment is definitely very bleak because a lot of us are going to be like, especially people who are doing jobs such as being like doctors and even engineers who are doing more practical work, they are definitely going to be losing their jobs in the future because of machines. Whereas people who are doing more creative work, and I'm not just making this up, there are facts backing it up also and stats also backing it up. People who are doing creative work are going to have a better chance of still existing because creative people have to constantly come up with new ideas and new content, right? Whereas with practical workers, they're using already pre-existing ideas and concepts to do one kind of task again and again. So that's why I think in terms of unemployment, we're definitely screwed. That's something which we don't even need to go too far off or look into a sci-fi movie to see that happening. It's already been happening. So that's my
Just to add to that, journalists may not have a day-to-day job thinking because a lot of AIs can now write articles for newspapers, which are like up par and they are much better than any human could write. So we might be unemployed and still talking to you guys through YouTube.
This
So
episode is
just
sponsored by Grammarly.
I think
it's not. It's not.
I think yeah, it's not. That was a joke. That was a joke. It's not actually sponsored by
Yeah.
Grammarly.
We,
Yeah,
we
no,
would
but
we would like you to sponsor us, but it's not.
Grammarly, if you can sponsor us, it would be great. We
Yeah,
would love.
thank
You
you.
can see how horrible we are when we write our script. So just sponsor us.
No, but though it's a very interesting concept that Jhanvi brought up because at the same time, while you're right that certain AIs have learned to write articles now, it's going to be interesting to see where journalists go in the future because while AI can write articles, we have seen, at least in our generation, has especially seen the difference between what it means to be a good journalist and a bad journalist,
True.
which something it is very doubtful whether a machine would be able to be what is now today called a
I
good
was
journalist.
That is why I said
Yeah,
that we could lose our day-to-day job because
yeah, day to
in
day
terms of
jobs.
just
Yeah,
reporting on a certain matter, they
yeah,
can write a
that,
report, but
yeah,
then to
yeah,
have a perspective on it, you
yeah.
may need a human to still do it.
Not just a perspective. I feel also like the human connection which you have, like doing like ground reporting, like going to, let's say, rural areas, villages, and connecting with people on that kind of level. Things like that. I don't think a machine will be able to do. And
No,
obviously,
I will still tell you with the kind of technology that we know of right now, a lot of like for us, even when we are trying to gather information, we don't need to go to a person to ask them stuff. We can email them and they can email us back with their
hmm,
answers. So if let's say there is a fire somewhere,
that's
you
that's
don't need to
exactly
you don't need to
the
have a person there, go there, just you can just look at people's tweets of
That's
that
that's
fire and
that's
write a report.
no. So that's exactly the point I'm highlighting. Let's say in a first world country like USA, you can mail whoever you want and all of that stuff. In a country like India, where majority of the people still don't have access to net and don't know how to send mails or have a computer or a laptop, how are you going to do that? A machine won't be able to do that. So that is exactly why I still brought it up.
That,
It's
yeah, that, but again, I
yeah.
would say that this is a legitimate
It
concern
can, yeah,
still.
no, I'm not disagreeing with that completely. It can happen, but it's a more ambiguous field over there as to,
Yeah, true.
yeah, whether it will happen or not.
Agree.
Because yeah, the journalism career, there is still a maybe not kind of question going on over there.
True. Jasmine, final thoughts.
I think I've already said enough, but yeah, I see. We've seen in movies, or like we've seen everywhere, that they're both good and bad. If like sides, or you can say uses of technology and machines. So it depends on who's using it, and I hope we don't overstep our boundaries, or like we know how to keep them in control, so that the fear that we have of AI taking over doesn't happen as soon as we expect it to. Yeah.
Okay, Avi,
I agree with Jasmine.
that's it. That's all you have to say for yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
No, no, no. But like,
Yeah.
if you
Okay.
want me to elaborate, then yeah, my biggest concern about AI is basically taking over humans. I'm not really like, I understand that it's exciting to see this kind of technology happen. Like, why wouldn't be an amazing thing that your phone can just book an appointment and you don't have to do anything? You just have to tell it, hey, listen, Google, book an appointment for me, and done. That's it. You just have to go there, and you don't even have to go there. You can just sit in the car and the car will drive itself. So that's like the kind of thing, we don't have to do anything anymore. So it's like, although exciting, but I there's still like, I don't trust it still. We might have been like, we did this with the game just earlier right now, but we talked about like uh, trust issues, and I do have plenty of them, and I don't think
Yeah.
I can ever.
Hashtag trust issues. Hashtag that's why Avi doesn't have
Bhavya just
boyfriends.
came out of nowhere being like, yeah, you do have trust issue.
No, but like yeah,
Hashtag that's why Avi is single.
oh, nice.
Hashtag no.
Yeah, Rishta,
That
Rishta, guys.
that makes sense for sure. Okay, then I was saying, I have to edit all this out, but anyways,
No,
uh,
you don't.
no, I'm gonna edit it. Anyways, yeah, that, I think that would be my point. If there obviously will be a stage where AI will be highly developed compared to it is now, and many people will start to use it. But I guess we can just wait and see what happens. Maybe I will start trusting these things. I don't do it now, but maybe I will. We'll see.
Bhavya.
Or maybe you will be the Will Smith
I
character in
already
real
am.
life.
I already am, but
No, no, in real life when people are using it.
yeah, I might be.
For me, the main concern is evolution of AI when we make them, if we make them, which I'm pretty sure we will. I think combining some of the points that Jazz mentioned in that myths and facts thing, uh, you know, anything that is more intelligent, like the level of intelligence has a level of power in that sense. And if we make a AI that you know we kind of try to restrict it so that it could not be more than us, in some way evolution, which is a fact, right? It's a universal fact that may happen. We saw that in iRobot. I think, I was a kid then I did not understand it then, but when I watch it now, I understand the fact that the horrifying thing, like Vicky was still using the three laws, that all of the three laws says that you cannot harm a human. But because of the evolved understanding of those three laws, she could go ahead and harm humans. So, just the like the humanness of things when it comes with evolution, which came with which we saw in the movie Her, and which we have been seeing the humanness of something, that how we define it as humanness of something, when it comes to a person which almost have, like when it comes to a thing which almost has like have all the power but may not have the empathy which a normal human being may have, is something that I find really dangerous. I think that is the main thing why I feel like AI may not be a good idea, because sooner or later it will evolve and it will realize the power that it has over us. So
So
that's my final
there's
thoughts for
basically
that.
no one here that thinks AI is going to be a good thing in the future.
We
Bhavya
would
did.
like we would like people who disagree with us to tell us why they think that it's a good idea to have AI in the comments, on Insta and on YouTube. Go follow us at the rate popwind underscore official on Instagram for recommendations on what you want us to watch next, and tell us what you want us to discuss. And follow us here, like, share, subscribe, do all the things that you are supposed to do. And I think that will be it for this episode.